I am not loving only porcelain. It is my connection is more to my profession. I studied mining and like all my parents, my father was a miner, my grandfather was a miner, and many relatives were in the mining business, and I took over from my granduncle a lot of his collection. The biggest part of the collection are old porcelains from my family. I started really, but you see, it was, I'm now 78, and therefore it's a long years to collect this porcelain, and in some way I became, of course, an expert in this kind of porcelain, and I love it. And in some way, you see, today my granduncle has the biggest collection, and I'm very sure all experts says that today this is the largest collection in the world, and because I'm concentrating only on pieces from the 18th century, you see, real collectors in porcelain, they think about only the 18th century, 19th or 20th century. It is in some way, I never had a contact to things. I'm only concentrating on the 18th century, and that together the widest collection and specialized only on 18th century, and therefore I think you can say that it's the most important collection on mining porcelain in the world. I don't know anybody who has a collection like this. Of course, it came because I'm also a miner and feel very close to that profession. I like people who are miners. I have many friends there, and therefore I like my collection very much. Nobody really knows that so well, but it is also to show that there was a close connection between porcelain and mining business, because the porcelain was invented only 18th century, the beginning of the 18th century, and many people remember the name Böttger, who was he showed himself as a gold maker, and he must flee because of course he cannot make gold, and at first he was in Berlin, and the Prussian king Hans tried to catch him, but he went to Saxonia, and then August the Strong, in some way the Übervater of the porcelain art, took him, brought him to Dresden, and there of course August believes also that he can make gold, but of course nothing. But he in some way he was a very talented ceramic affairs, and he works together with miners from Freiburg, from Saxonia, and Walter von Tschirnhaus, and the highest ranked miner in Saxonia was Papst von Ohain, and they all together were so lucky to find the right way to make porcelain. It was forgotten in old times. It must be invented again here for Europe. You see, at that time, people start to drink coffee, to drink tea, to drink chocolate, and if you and to drink it out of porcelain. That was another, in some way, a miracle, that it doesn't take the taste of the porcelain didn't go to, that it has no taste with coffee, and normally the taste of the coffee or the chocolate was left on the drink where you do your head, and therefore everybody wants to have porcelain, to buy porcelain, and it was in some way, there is often said, kostbar wie Gold, that the weight of the porcelain was paid in this in gold. Normally, it was very costful. And August, the ruler in Saxonia, he was very. He said of himself, "I have the maladie de porcelain," and he wants to buy all the porcelain he could get. He bought whole of ship, the whole ship he bought with all the porcelain which was transported from the Far East to Brugge or to Hamburg in the old harbors, and the people at the court, they were really afraid of, frightened of the costs, and he had really difficulties with the state's money. At the end, that was also the reason why porcelain was invented in Saxonia, because then they need not to give out so much money for porcelain which were imported, and you see, porcelain was everybody wants to have porcelain, and August were much interested to have porcelain, to present it to his friends, to give it as a present for states visits, and of course sometimes he was only invited because people know that he always brings porcelain. Here you can see the oldest mining figures which exist. This one, it's a unicat. It is only one existing, and you see it is this miner cannot even stand upside, because you see this was done in 1720, when they had not so much experience with the heat or with the time of the heating, and therefore it's a good example that it was so difficult in the beginning of the porcelain art to make really nice figures. This one exists only 3 times, and here you can really see the oldest figures in mining porcelain. But if you see these figures and these figures, these are from Kändlera. Kändlera was the best sculptor in the 18th century, not only in porcelain. He was excellent. You see between these figures and these figures, there are only 12 years in between. And look here on these elegant porcelain figures, and look here, like a poor fellow who is, if you combine it, it's just the contrary. This is an elegant Baroque miner, and yeah, that here very special are only these, also these boxes here, snuff boxes. August the Strong often presents it to his friends or to his officers who has done a good work, and these are, look here, the paintings, how excellent they are, especially with these snuff boxes from Meissen.